Hey guys, I just wanted to do a quick video here. I just received a lot from eBay from a seller, and I finally got one of these boxes for the mountain set by Superior, the rulers of the earth, and this is it on the table. Let me just explain to start with here though. Now this channel, the reason I don't edit and go through all the hoopla and everything, I just do this mostly to keep up with my collection. I can refer to videos sometimes easier than pulling stuff out and putting it, setting it up and all that. So I basically, just do it for my own use, and I make them public because I know that people enjoy seeing this sort of thing. So that's the idea here. I was wanting to go ahead and do a video on this lot that I received this morning actually, and just go ahead and get this down so I can refer to it later and see exactly what I got and when I got it and all that. But now getting back to this, the main point of the video, this box. This is the original box for a playset that came out in 1987 by Superior. They used the Marks molds, and they didn't make a whole lot. I mean, for one thing, I think this set retailed for more than $20 back in 1987. And they made a couple of smaller sets, one really small one, and another one that's kind of medium size with 47 pieces, but it didn't have the mountain piece in it for terrain. And I have those, and I have this playset, the mountain playset, complete already. I did a video on that. I'll put a link to that video in the description, so if anybody's curious, can refer to that. And, if I forget, it's on my channel page. I've got all that stuff on there. And so anyway, this is an incredibly hard box to find. I've been looking for one of these for over 12 years. And I've got eBay save searches. It's worded differently, several of them, and just trying to run one down. And it may look like an old beat-up box to people that don't know, but this thing is like freaking gold to a collector of this stuff that's been looking for one for so long. I mean, that's the only thing I needed to complete my set, is the original box, and it's holding together really well. I mean, it's structurally sound. The flaps where they bend on top, they've got some tears and a lot of wear and stuff like that. But it's holding up really good. And now I'm not going to keep the playset in it. Probably will never open up this box again. It's going to stay empty. And I'm going to put it on top of something else with my other playsets. And it's going to be, touched very sparingly. And but the important thing to me is I finally got the whole thing complete. And let's take a look at the box here. Precise detailing and realistic styling, large 20-inch mountain of caves, 17 thundering dinosaurs. And that's one of the things that makes the Superior sets special is the colors. They're swirled and marbled. They didn't make many of them compared to Marks, and they sell for a lot more than regular Marks dinosaur figures. And so anyway, this lot actually came with 16 of the 17. The only one that's missing is the Struthiomimus from the second series mold group. And I'm pretty sure I've got an extra couple of Marks Struthiomimus. If I've got a brown one, I mean, it's not swirled in marble, but it'll do, just to put it in there for what I've got in mind for the extra pieces. So anyway, and the 24 tribal cavemen, it came with all of those, unbelievably. 4 land bridges, 4 giant boulders, came with all of those. Did not come with the landscape layout, the playmat. And I'd still like to get one of those for a custom play set I'm going to be putting together from those pieces. 8 tropical trees and plants. It came with all those. And I'll go over those. There's a couple of condition issues with a couple of the trees, and the booklet. But the important thing is I already had all that. I had this playset complete, as I stated before. Now let's take a look at the box a little bit more. Here's a shipping label that's partially torn off. Sears, Roebuck and Company, Atlanta, Georgia. It's got the remains of a name, something Nate. Can't really make that out. That's the top of the box, and you can see, I mean, there are condition issues. The reason these boxes are so hard to find is because they're relatively thin for their size, and they didn't make many of them to start with. They're nearly impossible to find. I mean, I don't know what just one of the boxes would be worth. It's one of those things where not many people know about these certain things. And if you do find them, you're as liable to find them for next to nothing as for the price that they should sell for, which I got really lucky and got this a lot for, might as well say next to nothing. I mean, I felt bad for the seller. Here's an end panel there, side panel, and the bottom. And basically it's just the same photos repeated, you know, on the panels. But this box is awesome. You know, the artwork isn't, I mean, it's stylized, heavily stylized, but it's of the time, you know. I mean, it's, I'm just so glad to finally get one of these and finally complete the actual set. Now I will pause this and set up the pieces that came in the lot. Okay, here is everything that came in the lot with the box. We've got the Superior mountain piece. It's actually the large mountain piece from the Mark's Prehistoric mountain. It's painted differently somewhat, but for Superior, it's like got these brown areas heavily spray painted on there. And you know, this thing is really nice. It's got a couple of minor defects. Looks like somebody pushed down too hard right here, and it made a little crack right there, but I mean, it's not close to breaking or anything, so that's not even noticeable when you set it up. And you can still set cavemen on it, stuff like that. And it looks like this is factory here, probably from the painting. These little black marks here, that's nothing really. Those are thick, they're pretty resilient. And it came with all the original pieces for the terrain. These land bridges, 2 of those. And 2 of those. This actually is these are the parts from the Mark's Comanche Pass playset, the Western playset. And it's got a couple of boulders, which you can make into 4 if you take them apart. You know, you can like put them like that, and it looks like a boulders on the ground or whatever. So basically, I mean, you can have like 4 boulders if you do them that way. It's kind of cool. Or like Comanche Pass, you can have somebody push one off on a dinosaur or whatever. Of course, I don't technically what you call play with this stuff. I like to set it up and look at it and display it and collect it. And it had all the trees. And I noticed something unusual here. A couple of the bases for the ferns are brown instead of black. And I had some of those brown pieces like that in, you know, in some of my extra pieces, like down in the basement and stuff. It came with all the ferns. But I didn't realize that those were original Superior. I thought those came from somewhere else, but I guess Superior put brown and black pieces in their sets. It came with 3 of the regular ferns and this one weird one here. I mean, that's inverted. That's supposed to be a peg, and it's a hole. So, I don't know. You can't really set it up on the base because there's no peg to set it on, but I think it's a molding defect. Yeah, they got the peg on the inside of it. Yeah, I'll just keep that separate for an oddity. And, of course, it came with all 7 of the palm fronds pieces. The whole set of the palm fronds. Now, the condition issues I was talking about, somebody clipped, it looks like they used something and clipped off or cut off these longer, palm trunks at the tip where it had the little peg. Now, if I have to, I can take a knife and just kind of shave off the side of that and turn that little part sticking up into a peg, but I don't really want to do that. I don't like to alter stuff like that. I've got extra trees and, palm trees and stuff. I'll see what I've got. But like I said, my play sets are all finished. And what I'm talking about doing is for the custom play set I plan to do. And I'll go over that in a minute. But let's look at the rest of this stuff. It came with all of this. All of the Superior dinos, except for the Struthiomimus, which is incredible. Just this large mole group here, just these. I've been looking for these freaking things for years. They never come up on eBay. They must have sold so few that survived. And for the most part, they're just pretty much like new. Now, this Brontosaurus has a little bit of scuffing on the tail, but it's very minor. It's not like a bad chew or anything. Potbelly T-Rex, nothing, no damage at all. Kronosaurus, no damage. See how these are swirled and marbled? That's what collectors want. And it's force value on these things because they made so many that survived. I mean, so few that survived all these years. It came with the complete medium mole group. Here's the Allosaurus. Pteranodon. Now that's got a little bit of scuff there on that head crest. Looks like a very minor chew. It's kind of hard to tell. But I mean, I was just so glad when I saw these and didn't see a bunch of tail chews and other crap that you see all the time on toy dinosaurs. Ankylosaurus. Nice gray swirled. Trachodon, same. No tail chew, no damage. Everything's cool with that. Hadrosaurus, no damage. Stegosaurus, no damage. These Superior dinos mostly came in the 3 colors, the brown swirled, the gray swirled, and the green swirled. Now, it came with, of the 8 of the second series Marks pieces, it came with the with 7 of them. Here's the Iguanodon in the gray. Megatherium. These are all in great shape. I mean, just practically like new. If there's any scuffing and all, just very minor. There's no pieces broken off or bad shoes or anything like that. There's not even any scuffing on most of them, and very minor scuffing on the ones that barely have it. It's saber-toothed, Smilodon, saber-toothed tiger. They call them saber-toothed cat now, but it used to be saber-toothed tiger when I was a kid. Here's Styracosaurus in the gray, and Moschops. And these Superior dinos, they usually sell for around 10 to 30 bucks, sometimes more. I mean, the big ones, if you ever see them, they might be more than $30 now, because they turn up so infrequently. And these bigger of the other pieces, like the woolly mammoth, And Megatherium, they would probably sell for, you know, like 20, I guess, or something like that. And it came with all 24 of the cavemen, and I discovered something. Now, I thought maybe it might be like a lot of this stuff that you see where people just throw in random stuff when they sell a lot of playset parts on eBay, because they don't really know what it originally had. Most people don't. They just put whatever they got in there and try to sell it, you know. But there are different shades of these cavemen, and there's a little bit of a mix. There's not like, it's supposed to come with 24, and it did. There's not like 4 full sets of Mark's mold cavemen. And a couple of these are in the darker brown. These here are in like the brick red brown. And then you got the ones in the beige. And, you know, I mean, I was amazed that all the cavemen came with it. And it came with some extra dinos. Let's take a look at them. A couple of these goofy things. It's Chinosaurs, rubber screamers with their mouth wide open. And there's another one. I don't use any of those in any kind of custom playsets I put together. I don't like those things. And equally deplorable is a J-Roo T-Rex with the silly hands and feet. Now, I know that a lot of people grew up with this stuff in the 80s and 90s and even in the 70s, and some of them have an affection for it, but I've got a bunch of that J-Roo stuff. I collect all kind of toy dinos from back then, but I'm not too crazy about them. Here are, I guess these are by Diner, the erasers, the Ankylosaur erasers. I got a bag of those things in there. I'll throw them in that. And it came with a couple of Invicta. Here's an Invicta Stegosaurus and an Invicta Tyrannosaurus. But anyway, I can't use them in the custom playset I have in mind because they're too big. The scale's too big on them. They don't fit with the other dinos. I'm going with Mark's NPC style dinos in that set. Now here is another one from J-Roo, this little Brontosaurus. They made some of these little miniature sized ones, and they look pretty good. I mean, they look like the old Mark's molds. I'm actually going to use that in that custom playset for a baby Brontosaurus. And that I got all that stuff in that lot. I couldn't believe it. You know, these days you really take a chance on eBay if you put something up with a really low minimum bid that's kind of obscure that not a lot of people know about, like this. Now, the shipping was off-putting, but it was because the box had to be so huge for that playset box, and the outer box and all the packing and all that. It was like 8 pounds, and it was like this huge freaking box that they wrapped all in plastic and tape on the outside. I can't say enough about how great the seller was, because this thing, there were only 2 bids on it. And I guess the minimum bid was $19.99, and I got it for $20.50. Now, the shipping was $74.73. And I expected that because that was the actual shipping cost. That's what USPS charges Ground Advantage to send something that weighs that much and is that big. I'm just glad it all got here okay. But I felt bad for the seller. I mean, I sell on eBay too a little bit. Mostly I just buy stuff, but sometimes I sell stuff. And honestly, I don't know if they actually made anything on this. And they went to great pains to package this so safely that it got here in the same condition that it was sent in. And I can't say enough about how great that seller is. They're called ExcelsiorToys on eBay. If you get a chance to buy something from ExcelsiorToys, you can rest assured that they're not going to screw you if something sells low. They're going to take great pains to make sure that it's packaged right. And I mean, they got it out the next day. I couldn't believe it, man. my great luck with this. Been hunting all this stuff all this time. Also, I've got the medium set by Superior, 47-piece set. I think it's 5501. This is the 5500, this big mountain set. But I've got that medium one, and I did not have an extra set of the Superior dinos, the large mold groups, or large mold group, like these three. I did not have an extra set of them, so I just had Marks pieces in there. Now, when I made the video for that set, I used the only large Superior set that I had just for that video, but now I've got these. I can just switch them out, and I'll have those Marks pieces, the large mold group set, extra. And so that's another great thing that came with this for me. I am able to actually complete the medium set too. And, you know, that's the only thing I lacked on the medium set. Now, about the custom play set I've got in mind, I'm going to put together a Turok Son of Stone custom play set. And anybody that's seen my videos, you know, I've got like, I don't know, 6 or 7 custom play sets on there, maybe more. I forget, maybe 8. I'm not sure. But I want to do a Turok because I've got the full run of Turok, the comic books, Turok Son of Stone, up to number 130, including the Giant issue and the March of Comics issue and the Golden Press, that little square bound. I've got all that. I've got the complete Turok. I don't have a copy of issue 131 that was never published. I noticed on eBay some people have, like, you can buy like a Xerox copy of that or something, but I don't have that one. But anyway, I've got the 130 issues of the run. And you know, the Valiant stuff from the 90s, the Turok Dinosaur Hunter, it was okay but it wasn't really Turok. I'm talking about the real Turok. The first, like, I think the first 29 or 30 issues of it were published by Dell. They were actually published by Western Publishing, but Dell had licensed it. And then from like number 30 up to like number 125, it was gold key. That's what it was when I was a kid. When I was buying them new off the spinner rack, it was gold key. But it was all by Western Publishing. You know, even the ones that were distributed by Dell and licensed by Dell, they were published by Western Publishing. And then the Whitman issues, the last 5 issues, that's Western Publishing too. They just use the Whitman imprint for those. But anyway, I've been reading all those and really enjoying that. And I've been wanting to do a Turok set for years, and I just couldn't see my way forward with all the stuff I need for it. But I'm going to use these pieces, including this terrain, these Superior pieces, with the exclusion of a large mold group. I'm going to substitute the Marks figures for those, as well as a bunch of extra Marks figures and NPC figures, and you know, some stuff I'm going to do. I'm going to try to get a hold of like a Superior, another Superior playmat. I'm not going to rob from my completed sets, you know, to do this, but if I can find an extra one without breaking the bank, I might try to do that. And I can always do cutouts. I mean, I can do a cutout that conforms to that with a river going through here or whatever. And, you know, make a lake cutout and ponds and stuff like that. But the main thing that is going to be one of the distinguishing features for this playset, this custom playset I've got in mind, is I'm going to do a series of cutouts for the caverns. That was always a big thing with Turok. The series of caverns that the Lost Valley was formed, like the roofs of the caverns had caved in and created all these canyons, and it formed Lost Valley, which, you know, the 2 stars of the comic book, that's Turok and Andar, couple of Native Americans from the pre-Columbian era, which started in like 1492, I guess, when Christopher Columbus came to America. But it doesn't say exactly what year it happened, but it was in prehistoric times in North America, in the New Mexico area. But anyway, throughout Lost Valley, there are all these huge caverns and canyons, and I'm going to do these modular cutouts for the caverns where you can set them together different ways and have a huge, big, sprawling underground thing, and you can put rivers in it, or, you know, ponds or whatever you want to put. And also, I'm going to try to get one of those three-piece terrain things that Mark's did with the rock arch and the cave and the pond. Now, I've already got extra in my stash down in the basement. I've got a couple of the caves and the rock arches. I just need a pond. If I can find a pond without spending a huge amount of money, I can get one of those and put with it. And if I ever run into a couple of clips, I'll do that. But I mean, clips are no big deal. I know that collectors sometimes make a big deal about those clips, but as far as setting it up or even playing with it, if people wanted to do that, the clips don't really matter, because, you know, you're not going to be bouncing the stuff around. It's just the rock arch, you know, is going to set on those ledges anyway, whether it's clipped or not. And anyway, I want to get that if I can find one of those little ponds to go with that. I figure that terrain along with what I've got here, and I might try to add some extra different kind of trees to it because they had different trees. Also, I'm going to put some NPC figures in there, including some jungle animals, because in Turok Son of Stone, you know, they had the bison sometimes, or the big buffalo, and they had bears. And I've got a bunch of extra NPC jungle animals down there that I'm going to pull a couple of things out of, and the crocodiles / alligators. I'm going to use those. I'm going to get some extra of the pteranodons to like put on the mountains and stuff like that. Could be NPC, could be marks. I'll just see what I've got. I'm going to get maybe a couple more of these baby brontos, and I can use Chinosaurs for that. They also that J-Roo, the Chinosaurs, they had a Uintatherium. I think I've got an extra one of those. I'm going to grab that. And probably some pieces by Nabisco, like that woolly mammoth is little and looks kind of like a baby woolly mammoth. And I'm going to use that in the playset too, because they even had that play a prominent role in a couple of the early issues where Turok and Andar saved the baby woolly mammoth, and then they reunited it with his mother. And the gorilla, the NPC gorilla, which a lot of silly eBay sellers try to sell as King Kong, but it's not. It's just a dang gorilla by NPC. But in issue number 6 of Turok Son of Stone, there was a giant gorilla, you know, that was kind of a play on King Kong. And I'm going to use it for that. I could use a Palmer King Kong. I don't think I have an extra one of those, but I don't know. He looks kind of dynamic and all that. I'll probably just use the NPC gorilla for that and not worry about trying to upgrade that or whatever. And as far as the paperwork goes, I'm just going to put, I know I've got some duplicate issues of Turok from when I completed my run, so I'm just going to pick out a good issue of that and put that in there with it, because nothing is going to show the spirit of the playset better than the comic book. One of the big hurdles is getting the box. Now, I can draw the box, but getting the box, it's going to have to be like 24 by 20 by, I don't know, probably around 10 or 12. I'd like to get 12. It's going to be pretty expensive. I need a white box that I can draw on. And, you know, I've already got an idea in my mind about how the box is going to be laid out and all that. It's going to look pretty cool once it gets done. You know, it's not going to be Neil Adams or Bernie Wrightson. It's going to be, you know, in the style and spirit of the playsets from back in the day. But I'm going to use I'm going to use inspiration from the Turok comic books about the scene on the front and different things about it. So I'm kind of excited about all that. If anybody's got any ideas about that and wants to put it in the comments, please feel free. So that's about it. I just wanted to get this down and publish this video and get it where I could refer to it later on and remember this great stroke of luck I had about getting this stuff. And it was a really big deal for me. So anyway, I'll see you next time. Bye.